Let's go. I'm very high, I see here on my levels, so I'm gonna turn a bit back.
Turn it down.
Christmas is here.
Christmas is here. The end of 2023.
The end of 2023 is here, and it's been a weird year.
Yes.
We talked about this before we aired, and boy, I mean, it's especially like in the world, of course, like it's war and all that stuff. Not really fun, but then also in the like the tech scene that we are in, it's just
so crazy to see how things are moving with such speed that it's like things are constantly changing, and like there's layoffs, there are people growing a lot, then there's layoffs again, and it's like bouncing back and forth. There's no stability. I was having a conversation with a friend the other day. It's like, remember like back in 2017 you never thought you would like lose your job, whereas like in today's space, if someone get laid off, that's like, oh, that's a shame that company had to cut down on people, but like it's a part of the everyday scene now. And that's a bit odd.
It is. I mean, as you say, when I started, so I started in 2019 or something. Then I have never heard of layoffs, stuff like that. It was first that when we came to COVID that kind of became a familiar word for me. And then it's just been on since then. Like we had a really good 2021, 2022, I think, the economy in whole, but now this 2023 and 2022 has been like...
Yeah, things are weird out there.
Yeah, and
but
it is.
We're in Christmas spirit here.
Yep, we are in Christmas spirit. If you're watching this, you can see that I have my hometown hockey team.
It's fantastic.
And then I have a Boston Bruins cap on me as well. So it's very hockey oriented today, which is nice.
I'm only lunar.
You're only lunar.
Yeah, that's
my
what
company
brand.
do you work for again?
That's my favorite brand, favorite merch.
Okay, gonna try to find my coffee here.
Oh, you did not place your coffee in a good spot.
No, I did not.
You're about to sit down on your phone. Too much things here today.
Welcome. Yeah, we talked about this. So we have, if you're once again watching this on video, you will notice that we are very, very bright today.
Yeah.
And that's because we have a huge light.
It's like we're sitting in front of the sun, actually.
Yeah, it's very bright.
Yeah.
But it's also needed in Sweden right now, because right now it's actually dark outside still.
Yeah. It's and cold. And cold. Minus 18 yesterday when I got home. Crazy.
But it's I think it's nice. It's a bit cozy. You can dress for this coldness when it's like 0 degrees.
Yeah, what do you wear?
Speaking in Celsius, it's just, you don't know what to wear.
No.
It's weird. It's just, no. So
it's weird.
I don't like it. I like the thing how it is now, but now it's going to go back to that 0-ish, and it's going to be cold.
Slask.
Slask, as we call it.
We love slask.
In Swedish.
But on that note, so we have an exciting episode for today, and we are going to talk a little bit about 2024 in terms of what are you looking to achieve, and how are you going to measure that.
Yes.
And I think that we should just basically get into it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about data, metrics, the big thing that people are a little bit scared of.
100%.
But that you need some sort of guidance with in order to guide your future work.
Exactly. I think that this is one of the most difficult questions within employer branding. Everyone is like pretty good at content and all that stuff.
Yeah.
If you are doing content, but metrics, data, stuff like that, can be super tricky, especially in employer branding, where it's like from the first touch for a candidate to actually like applying or even get the job could be months or not even years. Speaking of layoffs, I mean, so it could, but now for example, when we were recording this, Spotify just announced that they will lay off about 1,700 people.
Yeah.
And I mean, just that thing being top of mind, then it's a huge thing.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, there's a bit less recruiting in the industry in general, but if you want this top talent, because Spotify has great talent.
Yeah. There's a lot of great talents coming out on the market.
Exactly. So if you want that, then you need to be top of mind, and then you need to be able to. It's very hard to like measure. Okay, when was the first time they got in contact with us or like saw an ad or whatever. So yes, today it's gonna be all about metrics, measurement, and I will talk a bit about how I have started to do things.
Yeah, maybe you want to give that a go, because I feel like one of the most asked questions in this field is like, what metrics should I use? What do I do? How should I measure this? And like you say, it's also the dark social that you can't really measure. You can talk to people and trying to like, you know, ask them for how they got to know your brand in the first place and all these things. And I think that if you just walk on the street, you're so exposed to so much branding and so much marketing from multiple different directions. It's everywhere. And I think your mind then just, in the back of your mind, just picks stuff up as you move along in life. So you might have seen the lunar logo on the street a couple of years ago, but you didn't really recognize the brand then and there. But then where you are today, you know what is that. So it's interesting.
Very interesting.
But take it away.
Okay, so I want to start with how you set goals, because that's like one of the things that I think you should start with. So before starting to measure anything or like anything like that, you want to be like, okay, what are we trying to achieve? So 2024, let's sit down. What are we trying to achieve? Then we'll get into more how we'll measure it. But when I do my setting goals and stuff, I use a framework called SMART.
The SMART goals.
It's pretty much the only thing I remember from university, but
from school. I love
so
that.
it's really effective, honestly. So SMART is for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. It could be variance difference on this, but this is one I found online that I'm gonna use today because I can't have it in my head. So specific, you have to have like, it needs to be very defined. What are you going to do? And you have to have a way of measure it that's measurable. Achievable, it needs to be realistic. So we need to have like, it can't be like we're gonna be the number one company and then you have to like do it in 6 months. No. Make goals that are achievable. Relevant, it should align with your desired goals and objectives, like in general of the company. And then it needs to have an end date. And I think this one, the last one, the T, having an end date is something that people miss a lot. They're like, okay, we want to grow, but they don't set a deadline for it.
No.
They need to have a deadline for it.
And also not like a definition of done. So when have we reached the brand awareness or whatever?
Yeah, exactly. When do we feel that we're done? So here's an example of a SMART goal. So it's not employee branding related, but this is like a website marketing related. So the SMART goal here is we will boost engagement on our website by 100% by publishing 5 blog posts weekly. Plus, we insert 3 or more links in our internal content into each post. So it's very they don't have actually an end time of this, I see now. Or did it say 3 months? No, they know. But it says here 3 months. So like this is what they want to do. They want to achieve this in 3 months and 100%. So that's a good start. Like, so sit down, go in Google SMART framework, sit down, define what you want to achieve. Okay, what are we trying to do? And don't just go, like, be reasonable. Don't overdo it, because don't be like, we want to have a higher quality of applicants if you never measured quality of applicants before. Like, start with something that could be like measure engagement on LinkedIn, impressions, average time spent on the career site, visitors career site, you know, stuff like this that's easy to get and easy to measure over a long time. I think that's a really good way to doing it. Yeah,
that's a good start. We do something similar. We don't call it SMART goals, but it very much is. And I think the SMART goal is such a good start for you to kind of take it step by step to actually break down what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Because if I'm just talking from my own experience and perspective, I can dream a lot and I can get wild with a dream, kind of like what you said. We're the best employer brand out there in 6 months. That's like, what is the best? How are you going to do that? Like, I put a lot of dreams into the things that I do.
Yeah.
But then I have amazing people around me who's also poking me to like, okay, but take it down a notch. Where can you start?
Yeah.
That could be your overarching goal, that you want to be the best employer brand or this product out there. Of course, you should have ambitions, but take it down so that you can actually run with small nuggets in order for you to get there.
Exactly.
And I think what we do is that we work a lot with hypothesis. So we work with like, okay, I have a defined problem that I see, and that could be we don't have a lot of applications, and not going into if they're qualified or not qualified, but we don't have a lot of applications to our tech positions, just as an example. And then we're like, okay, that's a problem.
Yeah.
We need to have people in the pipeline in order to work with, you know, the recruitment process, the candidate experience, like all these things. If we don't have people in pipeline, we can't improve anything, or we won't be able to fill the role, so to say. So we start with defining the problem or the challenge that we're facing. We're going into, okay, what's the outcome, what's the output, what's the hypothesis that we think can drive this change and the solution. And then I think it's all about the approach that you take to it. What kind of approach do you go about in order to figure out if you reach the goal or not? And I think one thing is that we're super solution oriented as people. Like we directly like, oh, hey Martin, I feel this and this. Then you're like, okay, but do this. That's gonna help. Like you jump straight to solution, and I mean that's what we do. But I think it's sometimes very good if people take a step back, they look at their challenge, and they explore an approach on how they can, together with people and users, build the solution, because that's going to bring value to most people, instead of you pushing down solutions that in actuality no one really cares about. So that's our approach on how we go about problems or improvements or stuff like that. But then when it comes to pure like measurements, like, do we have a time to hire? Yeah, we do. Do we use it very much? We probably should, but we need to like figure out what's the numbers actually telling us. Why do we need the numbers? And you just talked about sessions on the career page, and that's like, what does that tell you? The sessions on the career page. Why do you need that number? Because I think a lot of people, when they jump into like, okay, I want to measure my recruitment, or I want to measure my my employer brand, they like, we have 10 metrics, and it's like, okay, why?
Yeah, exactly.
And why do you use them?
Yeah.
Why is it important for you to have sessions on your career page? And then you can be like, or visitors for that matter, like, oh, we want to measure how many people actually get on our career page.
That's the same thing.
Yeah, but yeah, boom.
Boomer.
No, but so like, what does that even tell you? That it might be that your employer brand is actually known out there, that people actually do know that you can go to jobs.funnel and then figure out what they are hiring for, and all these things, that you're top of mind.
Yes.
But it could also mean a bunch of other things. So.
But so we obviously have done a lot with this, because it's been 2 years since I joined Funnel and we started with metrics and stuff. And we built a pretty solid dashboard that measures a lot of things that we have a look on. I look on a daily basis. But we started small as well. We started with like visitors or sessions, impressions and engagement on LinkedIn, and average time spent on career site, as well as applications. So this was 6 metrics that we started with, but there was very much, if you think of a funnel, it was top
if you
funnel,
think about funnel,
top of funnel, middle funnel, and bottom of funnel.
Yeah.
So that's how we built it, and now we have, I don't know, many more, and we look on things that, okay, how much of the traffic is coming from Google, that people are searching for certain keywords.
That's a good
stuff
one.
like that, to measure like the awareness. So if we can see a trend that people are Googling more on careers at funnel, or funnel careers, funnel jobs, whatever, we can assume that more people are getting aware of the brand, and actually are doing searches to go to our career site. And we see that trend has been like steady walking upwards since we started with employee branding. So that's also a way of doing things. But like, if you are starting, if you are want to be like new to this, that's not where you should start. You should start with something that you can see. First of all, see for yourself, like, oh wow, this actually makes the difference. And you can see the trend, and also showing that trend, and be able to create dashboards that show that trend to management, to your, like, people that are stakeholders that need to be seen this. So.
But now you just said you need to be able to create dashboards. Take it down.
But you can do this in, what's that called again? Excel.
Yeah. But who are doing the measurements here?
What do you mean?
Like, who will actually report these KPIs?
Probably the person that working with employee branding. Yeah, and they don't have time to do that.
No, I was gonna say. So,
exactly.
Where should you start? Do you just put the numbers into an Excel sheet and then you have someone internal help you create a visualization of it?
And yeah, that's a really good question. And I think that I was one of those persons that did this by myself when I started with marketing, like copying data from Facebook or whatever when I did ads and stuff like that, and just like manually putting it into a Excel and making a visualization of that. Then I started Funnel, and they learned me something, that they have a really, really good product. I'm not saying that everyone should get Funnel, but it's a good product. It's really good. Like, you can just connect everything, and then you get the data flowing into Funnel, and then you can export it out to like Google Looker Studio and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Which makes the difference, because then I don't have to update anything by myself. I can just see the dashboards, and that saves me a lot of time. I am actually, speaking of that, maybe planning on doing actual video how you can use Funnel, the free version of Funnel, to start with your employer branding to measure things. I will set up, like, go step by step on how you import the data, how you connect everything, how you clean it up in Funnel, and how you can export it and visualize it. Boom. It's gonna be like an hour and a half, and I will probably try to do that as soon as possible. Once we get that, I will make sure that will share this and people can try it themselves.
Yeah, I think that's going to help them a lot, because sometimes I think when we talk about these things, we talk, but then again, you don't have that guide when you like, and I mean, of course there are lots of Google tutorials on how to work with Google Analytics and all the different products out there, but sometimes you do kind of need that person sitting next to you and like, hey, real quick, this and that's gonna help you.
It gets so overwhelming, even though you watch YouTube, you're like, oh my god, where am I gonna do? And for me, I had really lucky, because the business intelligence team at Funnel helped me a lot from the beginning.
Oh, sweet.
On like setting up from the beginning, so they learned me a lot about the platform and how to visualize stuff and how to do that. I didn't know that before, to be honest, and I actually went to them like a couple of weeks ago. I was like, hey guys, and they're like, oh no, not you again, because I've been so much with like me again. And I was like, I just wanted to say, like, I actually have learned something. I can set up a dashboard myself. I know I have learned some things that you guys have taught me, so I'm so happy for that, and thank you so much. So that's also another thing, like, talk to people. You probably have, depending on how big the company is, you probably have some kind of BI team or marketing team that maybe can help you set it up, because it can take so much time for you alone to set it up, but it can take 10 minutes for someone that's been using it for a long time to set it up. Exactly.
And I think they are the experts, and they can also challenge you in why this matters, because they see it from a different side, and they can like, hey, why is it important that you have this metric, and that you can kind of test talk and test pitch your entire thing to like, yeah, but I'm trying to do this, and then they can actually help you and guide you into like, okay, but then you should really look at this instead.
Yes.
So I would absolutely recommend everyone, if you have a marketing team or like you said, data analytics team that you can go to and like borrow 15 minutes of their time. Because people are willing to help you. If you ask, they usually will help you. Yeah, I mean, everyone is busy bees, but we all work. We're humans. We like to help. We like to help and also share our knowledge and stuff. So I would absolutely ask them. 100%. Good. Then we have clarified this, and everyone is with this. Everyone understands that you need a goal. Thank you. That's it.
No, but let's go into metrics. So we briefly talked about a few metrics that we are measuring, and I can start. And as I said, I think that would be a no-brainer measuring like how many visitors do you have on your career site.
Boom, number one.
That even like if you use Team Taylor, whatever, you can actually see that in the platform. So
yeah, they have all of that in there.
They have the data. I don't know, I'm a bit not sure if that's because when I measure that, compare that to my Google Analytics data, it's a bit different, but it's kind of similar.
And I also think, for example, the Team Teller one, and we're just saying Team Teller because that's the ATS that we're working with right now.
All of them have
yeah, all of them have it. But I would say that then there's levels to the visitors that you can look into, like what countries and regions and like everything. Yeah, but let's start with visitors.
Start with just looking on visitors. And the thing we want to all usually look at here, if we start with employee branding, is to set a date where we started and then to find a trend. Is that trend going upwards after we started or not? Because that's the thing people want to see. They don't care about how many visitors you had a specific month. They want to compare it to the month before or the period before. Yeah. Because that's what's actually matter. If you can say we have grown 20% year on year on this month. Boom. That's
good stuff.
Exactly. No, so that one. On career site, it is visitors. I look on applications, and many people are like, why do you look at applications? Like, it doesn't matter. It can be quality can suck, and you still get a lot of applications. But yeah, it's still conversions. You still want to look on if people are converting and see if you have what the conversion rate is on this. And conversion rate is conversions divided with so applications divided with visitors, pretty much. Yeah. I think that Team Taylor also offers that one.
Yep, Team Taylor has it.
And then if you have Google Analytics that you can easily connect to Team Taylor, you can look on things that how many people are, how long are people staying on your career site, the average session duration. That's also a pretty good one to look on a long period of time, because then you see if you start to, for example, post blog posts and stuff like that, people tend to stay longer. And if you start to include links in those blog posts, so you make people stay longer on the career site, you're gonna have, that's just the number is gonna go up as well. Yeah. So that's one of them that I really, really like as well. It's easy to use. And then if you have Google Analytics 4, this is, now we're going a bit too far, but you can look on engagements, and Google Analytics 4 measures engagements in a different way than other platforms, but it's basically if they perform a task or stay a certain amount of time on the first page, then it's an engagement. So then you can say, okay, this person did not just go into the career site and left immediately. They actually did an action. So one engagement.
Can an action be that you scroll on the page? Exactly. Like you scroll on, that makes you don't have to click something.
No, it's either, I think, I'm not sure if it's scroll, but like either if you click through to something else, if you spend a certain amount of time, and then it's something word which I can't remember right now.
Yeah, that's fine. I was just...
Yeah, but yeah, 100%. Then, what else?
So we have visitors, you have sessions, you have engagement.
Yeah, I think this, for your career site, this is pretty okay to look at, starting off. But then you also want to look, obviously, on the social media channels that you're working with. So it tends to be a lot of LinkedIn, because that's what really, really works right now. I think for a lot of people say that people don't hang on LinkedIn, but people do. Like, they don't post maybe, but they are sitting there in a secret.
I think a lot of people jump on there, but I have to be honest, it's such a just hole of crap sometimes. Like it's you have to dig far to find content that actually, and I mean that goes into like your personal preferences, whatever you feel interested in, and all these what you like and all these things. Like for example, the video that you posted with your, I think it's the growth marketing manager, the one that you performance marketing. Tommy, when he wasn't allowed to use funnel for a day. Like that video, oh my goodness, I watched this from the beginning to the end, and I was engaged throughout. It was an amazing video because there were so many elements going into it. There was so many layers. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's on your LinkedIn or funnels, I guess.
Yeah, I shared it on my LinkedIn. So just scroll my feed and you'll find it.
But I mean, that was like a great video that I've seen in such a long time that I was actually like, this was fun.
Yeah. Brands should be fun. That's the one thing we forget.
100%.
Especially employer brands should be fun.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay. So I think LinkedIn is like, it's like a hate-love relationship with LinkedIn. Like you kind of need it, but you don't really like it, but there's nothing else out there. No. And yeah, it's this thing. You kind of need to be there, right?
Yeah. As a company, for sure. 100%.
As a company.
No.
But also I want to challenge that. Like LinkedIn company profiles. What's the use of that? Why do you need it? Should you have it? Should you not have it? Like I have so many questions around this because I do have it and I obviously work a lot with it, but at the same time I'm like, is it more credible if it comes from a person than from a company? But
that depends on the content. I mean, I posted a Tommy video with him not using LinkedIn, not using a funnel for whole day on our LinkedIn page first, and that performed really, really well. I mean, it's still authentic content. Then who the sender is depends on what you want to achieve. So if you want to build credibility or authority, then it may be better to do it from the personal profile. But that's another episode.
That's another episode.
Another episode, But metrics on, for example, LinkedIn. So if you look on a company page or even personal, like I look on impressions. So these are not unique. So if the same person watches your thing 5 times, it's going to be 5 times. It's not going to be 1 time. Impressions, engagements. I think engagements is super interesting on LinkedIn because they measure it in a different way than usually when you measure engagement rate, you measure it on like, comment, or share. LinkedIn also includes click, which can sometimes be makes it a bit weird. But also if you think about it, if you have a document post and someone actually clicks on the next page, they have actually interacted with it, and that should count on its engagement. So engagement rates tend to be a lot higher on LinkedIn than, for example, Instagram. But it's a really nice metric to look at, especially over time. So I look on that, and I look on how many engagement we get on a certain post. Now it's a bit here, but if you have funnel, you can like divide it into like what type of engagement and so on, and we can see the trend of that as well. But and I think that one, and then also engagement rate, I think it's good to look at. And then you don't have that much more on LinkedIn that you could use. If you have a video, you can have like video views and stuff like that. Yeah. But just seeing, I mean, reach is probably the key thing. And here, once again, if you can say that during 2024, we have achieved 250k impressions on LinkedIn.
Organic or paid.
Yes, sending that to like C-level team, they would be like, what the hell? Wow.
What the hell?
No, but seriously, like that's a really good number. And not like a 50k, it depends how big you are, but I think that only if you measure stuff and show it to your management that you have done something, and you can show a graph saying this is where we started, this is where we're now. They will be like, okay, here's some more money.
Here's money.
Because they will benefit the whole company, not just the employer brand, but it will also benefit the regular company brand.
No, I agree. And these are the things that you want to show to your company, and the more you start measuring, for example, then your social media content, that's going to guide you into what content actually performs. And I mean, let's be honest, also one video that you create, that one can go viral, the same video can get no impressions and no reactions. So I mean, you have to try it out, you have to just test it, so to see what actually works out there. But I do think the more you start measuring it, and like you say, that you start seeing trends over time, that's so interesting to also see that, okay, here we actually did a push and we changed something and we got this response on it. Because that's what you want to do. You want to reach out to the people that you have in mind, that you're like, hey, these are the people that I want to reach out with this message. Did they get it or not?
Can I just stop it quickly? Can you just pick up your mic? Because it's very easy that it puts up like...
Do you mean that they don't hear me throughout the episode?
No, they probably do, but like it can be like...
Yeah, we don't want that. Sorry if I made all the noise throughout this episode.
I will edit it away.
Sofia will not do one single thing.
No. Sorry. Continue.
No, I think I was done with that, actually. I think that was the end of my sentence.
Yeah, I just like, stop.
Don't do it. No. But it's... I just think it's like sometimes when you start talking about data and metrics and all these things, you tend to like get a little bit scared because you're like, what should I measure? And I think number one, start with like building your funnel. So like top of funnel, kind of what you said, like the 3 things.
Yeah.
Top of funnel, middle funnel, and then the end of the funnel. I think that's one way to actually
to just visualize
start with it. Then I think it's really important that you actually set that goal for yourself. What are we trying to do here? What are we trying to achieve? So sit down with your team or with your manager, or just sit down yourself with a great coffee and say, okay, in 2024, what is it that I'm trying to achieve here?
And define that.
Be specific in that. And then I think going, like you said, going to the career page, because that's where the actual conversion into job application is happening. You want to be there and understand what is making people apply or not apply, and understand the behaviors around that. But then I also think, like you said, start measuring your social media engagement and everything that you do out there, so that can be guidance for you to continue driving great success in 2024.
Yeah,
I think that's the quick summary of everything.
Yeah, of course. And then we probably get a lot of insights and learnings from this, and you will be able to continue with the life, be happy. Management will be happy. You will get more money into investing into employer branding, and you will become the rock star at the company. So
100% become a rock star and
live life.
But if you want to live life and become a rock star, you have to showcase why others should care about this.
Yes.
But that's like everything.
Okay. Yeah.
Good
so,
stuff.
Sofia, I want to ask before, we have been doing this for 32 minutes now.
And I have a meeting in 7, so let's go.
Okay, let's wrap it up. But I just wondered, what's your biggest learning from 2023 in the employer branding perspective? Before we end, because this is going to be the last episode of this year. Yeah,
of this year. And then we're going to look back next year and it's like, oh my God, you said that. And wow. All these things. Time capsule. I would say 2 things. So 1, stop doubting yourself type of thing.
Yep.
Like you can actually create pretty fun things. Just get creative, start testing. Don't be so scared of doing that. So that's number 1. Number 2, don't be afraid in including others and asking how they would like to participate in, for example, content creation. Talk about what makes people comfortable, because that's when the great magic and the good content actually comes out. When people are scared or they feel nervous, that's not going to work.
No.
So to me, I would say those 2. So I'm actually able to create some good stuff.
Yep.
Number 1. And number 2, I love working with people when it comes to content creation and have fun with that. It's giving me more energy to actually see people being proud creating content than actually creating the content and edit it and push it out. So what about you?
My biggest learning has probably been invest in fun. And when I say with that is I pretty much learned this the video I made with Tommy, we talked about this very many times today, but that was such a fun project to work on. We had so much fun, and it was really it was a fun project. And it also that shown in the video, it performed well because of that. So I think that what I'm taking with me from 2023, that the most, when I look on all the data we have from this year, I see that the post that is about something fun, they are very here's our culture kind of in a weird way or something. That's the post that performs really good. So I want to take that and double down on that next year. Make the brand fun, make it alive, and then just send it out to people, showing what company you are, and then that will probably help you gain a lot of good candidates for your open positions and build a brand long term.
Fun. Excited for next year.
Yes. And with that said, thank you everyone that is listening to all this podcast. I have spoken to a few people recently that listen to the podcast, and they have given some really good feedback. And I'm every time I said this to my girlfriend, when someone said, I listen to the podcast, I'm right, we actually have a podcast that people listen to.
I know.
But honestly, I'm truly happy that you guys are listening, and I think that I'm learning so much from this, and speaking to you guys has been fantastic. And to next year, we just want to make this a little bit better, and we will boost it.
I'm very excited for the podcast in 2024 as well.
Yeah, I'm glad we started in 2023.
I'm so happy we started this and that people actually listen.
Yeah,
thank you for that. And also keep sharing your feedback. Because to us, when people come and say that they listen, that's wholesome.
Love it.
Love it.
All right.
Awesome.
With that said, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't it Happy New Year? See you all in 2024.
Bye-bye.
Bye.